Hey guys, Andrew the Rag Company, and in today's exciting video, we're showing you the most cost-effective way to clean your car. Let's do it. It is 2025, and there is a detailing product for virtually every single part of the detailing process. It can be a little overwhelming. Well, what if I told you that for the last 20-something years, there has been one detailing product that's existed that can do most of those things? You might have guessed it, it is going to be Optimum No Rinse, also known as O&R. Now, O&R is a staple in many detailing setups, and it could be for one thing, it could be for multiple things, but ultimately this is a rinseless wash. This is something that you can simply use on the surface of your vehicle and dry it, meaning you are applying this rinseless wash, allowing the science and the chemical to do its job, and you are simply drying it off. And in that very short and easy process, you will be left with a very clean car. Now, O&R has plenty of other uses. It's a killer glass cleaner, it's a killer interior cleaner, it's great for just quick detailing, spot cleaning, and so on. It can do so many different things, and O&R, truthfully, is probably one of the best detailing products on the market. Today, I'm going to show you how you can take this one bottle here, a sprayer, a little bit of water, and a sponge and a pretty simple bucket with a few towels, and show you how you can clean so many different things on the exterior and interior of your vehicle. So with that said, I'm going to show you some quick dilutions, show you how to mix this up so it's ready to use for everything, and then jump into the detailing. We have a very dirty Subaru Crosstrek behind us that we are going to be cleaning today with O&R. But what I wanted to show you is the quick dilution process for diluting it at 256:1 in something like a household sprayer. So this is just your typical 32-ounce sprayer, nothing special about it, and we have some water over here to show you the dilution. Now, I recommend always buying the 32-ounce bottle. This will last you a very long time, and I promise that you probably will use it all. So again, we're going to take this, and this cap right here is exactly half an ounce. So we have half an ounce, which dilutes to 1 gallon of water. So if you have a full gallon of water, then you would take a full capful, pour it into that, and you are at the dilution of 256:1, which is going to be the standard dilution for most cleaning and for virtually everything that you would use O&R for. Now, you're going to have dilutions like 128:1, right, or 64:1. 128:1 is really going to be for like clay lubricants or something where you're needing a little bit more lubrication, and then 64:1 works great as just a quick detailer and spot cleaner with a little bit more cleaning power. So taking my half an ounce cap in my 32-ounce bottle, fill this up to roughly a quarter full. It's not going to be very much. Like that's actually literally it. Look how little product I'm using. That's it. And now we're going to take our water, pour this in. It's going to be a nice light shade of blue, which is exactly what we're looking for a 256:1 dilution. Again, this is a household sprayer. Ideally, I recommend using something like an IK multi-sprayer, something that has a little bit of a larger capacity. There's even larger IK sprayers that you can use as well for all of your pre-spraying and use. But this is probably what you're going to reach for most, right? Just a standard sprayer at 256:1 dilution with O&R, and you're going to use this for virtually everything. So let's go ahead and take this in an FTW towel and show you how well it works as a window cleaner. So this window here is very dirty, and you can clearly see that. But this is a walk in the park for something like O&R at 256:1. So taking my FTW towel here, we're going to go ahead and knock out the interior first with a couple sprays, adjust my sprayer to my liking, get that on there, go ahead, knock out one direction here for my cleaning, box it out, side to side, that's done, interior, done as well, right? Very smooth, very slick, and there's no streaks or anything like that. And that's the interior cleaning. That took me all of 10 seconds to do, so let's knock out the filthy stuff. We have some like tree sap and some random stuff on here. Again, not a problem. Go ahead and pre-spray our O&R. Let it start to encapsulate that dirt. Get that rear window here and that one right there. So as far as pre-spraying goes, it's highly recommended, especially obviously using it as a glass cleaner. Now I could also just take my towel, spray some product into it, and clean it that way as well. I like the pre-spray version. That's just my preference. Now, after we let this sit and start to encapsulate the dirt, we can actually clearly see some of the spots actually grabbing that dirt and holding it in that nice bubble. From here, we're going to take our towel. I give it like one quick spray just to kind of season it. I'll go through, box it out, come back around, and begin scrubbing. Come back around here, and we're going to go up and down, clean all of that off, box out one more time. I think that looks pretty good. Rear window here, same thing, box it out, come back around, and just like that, we have a very clean window and cleaned very safely at that. A couple little nicks in the glass and whatnot, but for the most part, this is clean. I'm not seeing any streaking. It looks really good. I kind of cleaned up this surrounding trim here. And again, this took me all of 20 seconds to do. So on the fly window cleaning, this is great. Yes, it's not going to flash off like a traditional window cleaner that has alcohol in it, but it doesn't need to, because again, this is going to be a streak-free finish. Now, if you do screw this up and you get some type of streaking, that means that your concentration of O&R is too much, or you have something on the surface that is dragging and streaking, or perhaps your towel isn't doing a good job. But with a quality towel, 256-to-1, you'll do this all day long. Next up, it's time for the exterior wash. Now, how do we do this? Well, we need some water first, so let's go ahead and turn this on. And we're going to be filling this up with roughly, how about 3 gallons of water? I think that sounds pretty realistic. So getting into the paintwork here, we have a very dirty fender here, where as you can see, a bird has pooped on this. We also have a bucket with 3 gallons of water, and again, some more O&R. So our dilution for this with 3 gallons of water is going to be 3 full capfuls. Go and mix that up with our hand. And then I'm going to grab our Ultra Safe sponge. Now you can also do this with microfiber towels if you want to do this. The Ultra Safe sponge is kind of designed for rinseless washing. It's really easy to use, so you just take this, throw that down in the bucket. Now there's a couple different ways to do this. Some people like to take their sponge, dunk it in, do a squeeze, pull it out to the point of where it's just kind of dripping, and then apply this to the panel. Now you can do that, and you can do that safely, but personally I've always chosen to do a pre-spraying. It's pretty easy. You don't need a ton of product, but you just need enough just to kind of get it onto the surface. So we'll go down, get that little piece of bird poop there, a couple more sprays, and that's really all you need. That's honestly probably a little bit more than what you need, but you just want to get some decent coverage. From there, I'm going to reach down to my bucket. I'm going to pull out my sponge, and again, I want to have enough product on here to where the sponge is properly lubricated, but I don't need it to where it's completely saturated. So I'm going to squeeze out a little bit of this back into my bucket, and if you can see that lower third section of your sponge saturated, then that's plenty of product on the sponge. You can actually probably get a little bit more out till it's about 1/4 to where it's still comfortable and easy to hold into the hand. And then from there, we are ready to clean our surface. So taking this, I'm going to go through, wipe this up, knock out that bird poop here, come back around, knock out this fender, and then if I want to, and if the car is really, really dirty, I can flip the sponge. I can do one more small little dunk if needed. That's probably pretty good. Come back around, a little bit of bird poop there, pick that off, come down, knock out my lower portion of the fender here, get my plastics, flip the sponge as needed, clean that up. Done. From there, take my drying towel. Now, if you want to, this would be a proper time to use a drying aid. So if you wanted to use a quick detailer, you'd spray the quick detailer in this section here and then dry the car. It's going to feel really good. It's going to feel really slick. It's going to add a little bit of gloss. But if you don't need that, then you're just going to grab your towel, go ahead, wipe this up. I'm going to kind of box out the area that I worked on. That is a rinseless wash. It is safe. It is effective. There's no scratches. There's no marring. This thing feels great. Again, if you wanted to use a drying aid or like a sealant or anything like that, you can go back over it. You can actually spray it onto the car while it is still wet with O&R on the surface and then dry it in that way if you want to do it. There's so many different ways to do this, and O&R is compatible with so many different chemicals. You will never harm anything. I almost guarantee you that you'll never harm anything. And it just feels really, really nice. Now, you could also take more O&R, again, and dilute it at 64-to-1 or 128-to-1. If you're looking for a little bit more slickness in that drying process, you would just simply have a different sprayer mixed up with that dilution and spray it. Already, this paint feels really, really good. the version 6 of ONR has a lot more slickness left behind than the previous versions. And so if you were looking for something that just felt a little bit better during that wipe off, then pretty much look no further. V6 really solved a lot of that and made that feel so much better. So let's go ahead and knock out the rest of the car with a full wash doing the same exact process. You'll see that this is going to be a very clean car here at the end. Depending on your environment, some people will want to pre-spray their whole car first, which is great if you're doing this in the shade, right? If you have a bunch of shade or you're doing this in your garage, you can pre-spray your whole car and do the whole thing in one shot. But if you're doing this in direct sunlight, then you'd probably follow that fender method that I showed you guys, kind of one panel at a time and do it like that. Now, if ONR dries on the surface, don't worry about it. It's not going to leave behind any water spots or anything like that. And that's mainly due to the polymers inside ONR essentially preventing the calcium and magnesium and whatever was in that water from bonding to the surface, meaning that you will not get water spots. It's not possible. It's going to prevent that from actually sticking. Now, if you have extremely hard water, and I'm talking like 400, 500, 600 parts per million, then that might leave a little outer ring, but that will, again, simply wipe away with a little bit more ONR. Now, the other thing too, if the bucket is still clean with clean ONR and you haven't necessarily gotten that all dirty, then I would just take my sprayer here, dunk it down into that bucket because it's going to be at that 256:1 dilution, and then refill it from the bucket itself. But I'm really not using a whole lot of product here on my spray, and so I might just refill it at the sink maybe once during this entire process. So spray that, spray my mirror. I'm going to go through. We're going to go ahead and knock out the roof. All that's cleaning up really, really nice. Now, really, this wash process that I'm showing you right now is going to be ideal for people who live in an apartment complex or somewhere where they don't really have a covered garage or a lot of space to work, because truthfully, I could do this in a parking space of an apartment complex. If I had a car right next to me, not a problem. I'm not going to get it saturated. I'm not spraying it with foam. I'm not spraying it with water. I have a trigger sprayer here. The worst that could happen is a gust blows and a little bit of my ONR lands on the car next to me. And what's the worst that could happen with that? Nothing. Nothing at all. Literally just sit there and dry, and there'd be no issues. So it's great. You can do this in tight spaces. You can do this pretty much anywhere. And this car actually does live in an apartment complex, and this is how Jose, who owns this, is able to take care of his car. Jumping over to the sides, again, we're going to be working from top to bottom. So my favorite way to do this is to run a line over that top section. From there, I'll knock out my windows really fast, box those out, clean that. This one's already kind of cleaned. Go through, box that out, and then knock out the rear fender. Now, what's nice about this is that this method here is like great for people who don't have a pressure washer, don't have a foam cannon. I know it may not be as satisfying to watch on YouTube videos, but I promise you the end result here is still just as satisfying, because I feel like a lot of people watching the content nowadays, they're like, oh, in order for me to have a clean car, I have to have a pressure washer, I have to have a foam cannon, I have to have like 6 different soaps. No, you don't. I promise you, your car is going to look just as clean at the end of this wash as somebody going through all those steps. Like that's just, it looks good. I totally get it. And it's a lot of fun to do, right? But if we're just looking to have a very clean car and done in a very clean and safe way, this is the step. The other big thing I wanted to show you guys is, so on this particular car, right, obviously this is my painted surface, this is my trimmed surface down here. Every car will typically have a dirt line somewhere halfway down the door, right? This up here is going to be pretty clean. This down here is going to be pretty dirty. Now, if you want to be, really crazy and you really want to be really particular about things, you can actually kind of draw the line for yourself. So you can say, hey, I'm going to go around, I'm going to clean up this upper area of the door, make my way around the entirety of the car, and I'm going to save my lowers for last, meaning that I'm going to come here last to do my final bit of cleaning. And that's something you can totally do. Yes, you're going to be making another run around the car, but if that makes you feel good inside, it makes you feel like, hey, that dirt isn't going to be transferring to other areas, then that would be the way that I'd recommend doing it. So for today's video, I will do that as an example. We'll leave the lowers down here for the very end, but I'll just knock out everything from there. So this side of the vehicle is done, and it's clean. It's clean. It's clean. I touch it. I'm touching it. I'm touching it. I'm not worried about the sand, the grit, because it's not there anymore. It's clean. I could rub up on it. I could do a lot of different things to this thing, right? I think you get the point. So I'm going to go ahead and finish this. I'm going to meet you guys at the bumper next, because that area is absolutely filthy and it has bug guts, and we gotta show you how to handle that. Car, minus the front bumper and the wheels, are clean. It's looking pretty good. However, the front bumper has a ton of bugs on it, a ton of bug guts. Now, there were some other residual bug spots and a little bit of tree sap spots here and there, a little bit on the front windshield, a few spots on the hood, a few spots on the rear, but nothing super crazy. But what I want to show you guys is that when you're dealing with this level of filth and this kind of bug accumulation, that's when you're going to jump to a stronger dilution and use something like a clay scrubber, whether it's a Jersey bug scrubber or just an ultra clay product like this. It's awesome, works super, super well. It's got the Jersey bug scrubber on one side and it's got the clay on the other. So for this, we're gonna take our bottle here. We've only gone through 32 ounces of water, which is pretty insane. We're gonna go ahead, attach this little doohickey here. We have only gone through, and we will only go through, about 64 ounces of spray in this entire wash with the 3 gallons of water. For the 128:1 dilution, we are going to go with half a capful instead of a quarter. And then you can see it is a shade of blue. It's just a little bit of a darker shade of blue to match that dilution. So from here, we're gonna go ahead and pre-spray the front end. I'm gonna show you how to use the Ultra Clay Scrubber. The front bumper here, again, covered in bug guts. I'm gonna take our 128:1 dilution and we are going to start pre-spraying. Now with bug guts like this, it can be really hit or miss, right? Some of this stuff can be really, really caked on depending on how long it's been on there. Sun exposure, heat, things like that can all make a big difference in it. But we're going to assume that maybe they haven't been on there for that long and hope that's the case. So get a good pre-spray on everything. And then from here, what I like to do is I don't like to jump straight in with the Jersey bug scrubber or the clay side. And the reason for that is that we haven't removed most of the dirt on here, right? We need a safe tool to remove most of the dirt, like the Ultra Safe sponge or microfiber towel, to clean off most of this, and then we can get into the scrubbing. We just don't necessarily want to clay or scrub dirt into our paint. So getting a good coat onto there, I'm going to grab the USS in the same bucket I've been using this entire time, go through and start trying to knock off as much of this bug guts and dirt as we can. We're going to go ahead and knock out the headlights while we're here, this side of the bumper, get our lowers, our recesses. And this goes so quick, especially if you have it maintained, if you've been using like a sealant or some type of quick detailer. With every single wash, you'll find that your bug accumulation will actually not be as much. From here, we're going to take our Ultra Clay Scrubber. We have our Jersey material on one side, clay scrubber on the other. We probably won't have to use the clay side, honestly, probably just the Jersey bug scrubber side. So for this, I'll give it another quick little pre-spray just to get some more lubrication on the surface. Then from here, take this side and go through and start removing any of our stubborn bug guts. Now, if you get to a painted surface and you're finding like, man, I got some spots on here that I just cannot get, and I'm kind of having to use my fingernail, that's when I would switch it over to the clay side and just lightly go over the surface. Now, if you're a fan of the wash clay seal method, then you can also do this and then go back over with your favorite sealant and use that as a drying aid, because what's cool is that right now we're doing a light decon on the paint and we are really kind of cleaning everything out of it, really kind of exposing it to allow it to accept a longer term sealant, right? So whether it's again, a quick detailer, which won't last as long, you can jump into a sealant and that which will last a lot longer. So going through, all this stuff is cleaning up so nice. I'm mostly using the Jersey bug scrubber material, going through, cleaning that up. Down here on the lowers, we have a couple spots that are a little bit more stubborn. Doing that. License plate. Just gonna clay that stuff off. That's a lot better. And then you can dunk back into your original bucket as needed. Now, is there going to be a little bit of dirt in the bucket? Yes, but what's nice is that you're at least going to get more lubrication into this. And you can also just rinse out whatever you're picking up in the bucket as well. The windshield, I want to talk about this really quick because this had some bug guts on here that, again, just kind of weren't really coming off with the wash. If I would have hit them a few more times, it probably would have happened, but there's like a good spot right there, a couple good spots right here. So same method applies. You can just give yourself a super clean windshield. You can super clean it this way by just spraying more of that 128:1 dilution, taking our Jersey bug scrubber side, going through, giving it a good scrub first. Getting that on the surface. And then from here, what I'm going to flip it over, a couple more sprays, then we're going to clay the windshield. Oh, that feels, that feels a lot better. Like night and day difference. That's insane, actually. That feels so slick. Like this is really the way to do it. If you have the bucket out, you have the scrubber out, and you're already kind of doing things, this is how I would do it. So come around to this side, same thing. So there's one spot right here, right? I don't know if you guys can see that, but there's a decent amount of accumulation that will probably come off with that first pass of that bug scrubber side. Yes, and then flip that over to our clay side. Wonderful. So now let's grab our drying towel, let's dry up the windshield, let's dry up the front bumper, and then I will show you the final bit, which is going to be the wheels. Here we are. We have a very, very dirty wheel. Now, is this wheel going to be absolutely spotless, perfectly clean using a rinseless wash method? Probably not. No, this is where really a wheel can be so intricate. I highly recommend pressure washing when you can or using like a dedicated wheel cleaner for something that gets this filthy. And the biggest reason for this is that you have brake dust, right? You have a lot of road grime. And what happens is through heat cycles, right, this stuff will really start to bake in. And that's where really a dedicated APC or a wheel cleaner is probably going to do a better job. But with that said though, these wheels probably haven't been cleaned in weeks, maybe months. I have no idea, but it's been a long time. And so if you were to do a rinseless wash method every single week on your wheels, every 2 weeks on your wheels, you would have perfectly clean wheels. Not an issue there. But at this level of filth, this is where it's probably going to be a little bit of a limit. So what I'm going to do for this, I'm going to take a wheel brush. So this is the Ultra Wheel and Body Brush. This is safe on all painted surfaces, including your car paint as well. It's got really soft bristles here. Not a ton of scrubbing power for something like tires, but it'll do a decent enough job. So taking our brush here, I'm going to go ahead and dunk this into our bucket, which, by the way, if you look, we are using the same O&R mixture that we've had since the beginning of this video. There's roughly, I don't know, probably 1.5 gallons left, maybe close to 2 gallons, but that's it, right? So I'm gonna just dunk this, submerge that completely. I'm looking at my liquid. It's not completely filthy. It looks like it's still safe for the wheels. So I'll dunk that in there. Take my sprayer here. This still has that 128:1 dilution. Totally fine for wheels and tires. And we're gonna go ahead our pre-spray. You can adjust your spray pattern as needed to get a little bit more coverage, or use it a little bit more spraying power. Then I'm going to take my brush here and I'm going to begin brushing. Try to get into all the intricate areas the best I can. Another good option for this method would be the Ultra Wheel Wool Mitt. I really like that. That one would work really, really well for this. Or if you want to just use pure microfiber, then you could use the Ultra Cyclone Wheel Mitt as well. Works really, really well. Or honestly, just a freaking towel. Just grab a microfiber towel. Grab like a demoted microfiber towel. Grab the cheapest microfiber towel you have. I don't care. It doesn't even have to be from the rag company. It's not so much the media that you're using to clean the surface with. It's going to be the O&R that's doing most of the cleaning power in the first place. All we're really doing is kind of agitating that dirt and getting that chemical to work as needed. So I think this is honestly working pretty well. I was kind of concerned about the level of filth on here, but I'm seeing a lot of this stuff lift off, which is great. I can take my brush, do another dunk here. We're just gonna do a quick little scrub around the tires. I'm seeing, funny enough, I'm actually seeing a lot of this browning starting to come off. And this is a very, very delicate brush. Not really designed for tire cleaning. Cool. So from here, a couple more sprays. I'm gonna go grab one of our most basic microfiber towels and dry this. And that would be a separate towel from your drying towel. I wouldn't want to take my drying towel and clean my wheels. Again, there's more filth on there. So, and I don't want to take my glass towel either. I want to just grab a separate microfiber towel. So I'm probably going to grab one of our 16 by 16 edgeless minor. Not a fancy towel, but it's going to do the job. So I'm going to get inside here, start cleaning up the wheel. And what I can do is at a certain point, as I'm drying this off, I can see, did I do a good job cleaning? Yeah, I did. Look at that. I got just a little bit of something on the surface there, but that's it. That's it. The O&R really did a ton of work. I mean, I can't say maybe as much as a dedicated APC or wheel cleaner, but I mean, these are cleaning up really, really nice. But if I wanted to from here, I can go and take a quick detailer, add a little bit of gloss to this, but that's clean. There's nothing left on the surface there. That is a very clean wheel. We've done it. So let's go ahead, go to the table, and do a recap of how much product did we use, how much water did we use, and how long did this take us to do. So as we come to a close here, we are left with an undeniably clean car. That looks fantastic. But what is the total cost to do something like this? I mean, we argued that this is probably one of the most cost-effective ways to wash your car, and that still stands true. So when we look at water consumption, right, we used roughly 3 gallons of water plus about another 64 ounces. So water, for the most part, is usually going to cost just about a couple cents. The other big thing, O&R, right? O&R comes in about $20 for a 32-ounce bottle. We used approximately or roughly 2 ounces, costing us about $1.25 in just overall product. But really, the biggest cost is going to come from a lot of the other accessories, right? So when you look at towels, when you look at brushes, sponges, and whatnot, these are things that are, again, are going to add up, but the amount of usage that you're going to get out of them, that cost will eventually be pretty negligible. So for example, you know, a sponge, whether you're into about 20 bucks, a brush here, about 10 bucks, a decent drying towel can run you anywhere from 10 to 20 to $30, depending on what kind of drying towel you like. And then getting into some glass cleaning towels, this is a particularly nice glass cleaning towel, but some of the lower cost ones can be anywhere from a couple bucks to 3, 4, 7, depending on what you get. And then all-purpose towels. These are going to be the cheapest option here. So usually these can be around $1 a towel, depending on what kind of towel you get, even less in certain cases. But the all-purpose towels, that's what you're going to use for a majority of other things, right? So the interior, you're going to use an all-purpose terry towel. Wheels, all-purpose terry towel. You can still use these on glass. You can still use these on paint. You can use these for just as many things that we use here today, but you're going to be using more of them. And that's typically why I recommend having like something like a dedicated drying towel. Now the other thing too, right, when it comes to claying, right, clay bars can actually be relatively inexpensive. But if you want to get something nicer, like an ultra clay bar, which is going to have clay on one side and jersey on the other, you're going to be paying a little bit more. You're going to get a 2-pack, which is also pretty cool. But for the most part, a lot of the stuff people have just in their cabinets or at home or in their garage. Almost everybody has a bucket. It doesn't matter if it's a Home Depot bucket, a Lowe's bucket, whatever it may be, you got a bucket. A grit guard, I do recommend getting. They're roughly about $10. They'll last you virtually forever, but you throw that in the bucket and you are good to go. Now, a brush is the other thing too. I mean, yes, you probably have brushes in your cabinets. They're probably not ideal for detailing if you're just an everyday person. So as a detailer, you want to have a couple good brushes that you know are going to be safe on most surfaces. And then lastly, a sprayer here. If you don't have some sort of sprayer in your house, whether it's like a spray for your hair or whatever it is, you probably should at least have one for some type of use, but I guarantee you probably have a sprayer. So ultimately, water, chemical cost, we're into this like a couple bucks. The accessories are gonna add up, but again, you're gonna get hopefully 50, 60, 70, 100 uses out of virtually everything else here, making that pretty much a $3, $4 wash every single time you go to do this. So O&R is amazing. It's so versatile. We're left with a clean car. The stuff works fantastic. If you hear people dissing O&R, saying that they don't like it or it's not good, again, they don't know what they're talking about. And that's that. So with that said, if you guys enjoyed this and learned something new from this video, please make sure to give us a big thumbs up, subscribe down below for more, and stay tuned for more videos right here at The Rat Company.